Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we are talking about something we all do every day, eating, but we will look at it in a special way, a way that can add not just years to your life, but life to your years. We are going to explore the powerful rituals of eating that have helped people around the world live long, healthy lives. If you enjoy learning about simple ways to improve your health, please consider subscribing. Let's begin with a simple idea, which is eating with intention. In our busy modern world, eating has often become something we do while doing something else. We eat while watching the news. We eat while reading the paper or scrolling on a phone. We eat quickly, standing over the kitchen sink. This is what we might call mindless eating. Our food goes down, but we barely notice it. Eating with intention is the exact opposite. It means you are fully present with your meal. It means you give your food the respect and attention it deserves. This is not a new or complicated idea. In fact, it is an ancient practice. People who live to be over 100, the centenarians, often share this common habit. They have a ritual around their meals. When it is time to eat, they stop everything else. They sit down at a table. There is no television blaring in the background. There is no phone on the table buzzing with notifications. Their focus is solely on the food in front of them and perhaps the people they are sharing it with. They take their time. They look at their food, noticing the colors and the shapes. They smell the aromas of the meal, and when they take a bite, they truly savor it. They chew slowly and thoughtfully. They notice the texture in their mouth, whether it is soft or crunchy. They identify the different flavors, the sweetness, the saltiness, the savory taste. This simple act of slowing down is incredibly powerful. It might seem like a small thing, but it has a huge impact on our bodies. Let's talk about how this works for our digestion. Digestion does not start in the stomach. It actually starts in your brain when you see and smell the food. This signals your mouth to start producing saliva. Saliva contains important enzymes that begin to break down the food right away. When you eat slowly and chew your food properly, you create more saliva. You are essentially pre-digesting your food before it even reaches your stomach. Imagine you are trying to wash a pile of muddy clothes. If you just throw the big, clumped-up clothes into the machine, they won't get very clean. But if you take the time to shake them out and separate them, the water and soap can get to every fiber. Chewing is like shaking out the muddy clothes for your stomach. The more you chew, the smaller the food particles become. This gives your stomach a much easier job to do. Your stomach acids can then work more efficiently, breaking down the food further. This leads to better nutrient absorption. When your body can easily break down the food, it can also more easily pull out all the good things like vitamins and minerals. If you eat too quickly, large pieces of food can pass through your system without being fully digested. This means you could be eating the healthiest food in the world, but your body isn't getting the full benefit. Slowing down also helps you recognize when you are full. There is a slight delay, about 20 minutes, for your stomach to send a message to your brain saying it has had enough. If you eat very quickly, you can easily eat more than your body needs before that signal arrives. This is a common cause of overeating and weight gain. Eating slowly gives your brain time to catch up with your stomach. You will find you feel satisfied with less food. This practice of mindful eating is found in many long-living cultures. In Japan, especially in Okinawa, where many people live past 100, they have a saying, hara hachi bu. This means, eat until you are 80% full. This is not a strict diet rule, it is a mindful practice. To know when you are 80% full, you have to eat slowly and pay attention to your body's signals. You stop eating when you are no longer hungry, rather than when you are stuffed. In Mediterranean countries like Greece and Italy, meals are often long, leisurely affairs. They can last for hours. Food is brought out in courses, with time in between to talk and digest. The purpose of the meal is not just to refuel the body, but to enjoy the experience and the company. The French are also known for their love of food and long meals. They tend to eat smaller portions, but savor every single bite. A small piece of rich cheese or a tiny flavorful pastry is enjoyed with great attention. This appreciation makes the food more satisfying. So how can we in our modern lives apply these simple habits? It is easier than you might think. You do not need to make huge changes overnight. Start with one meal a day. Maybe it is your breakfast. Decide that for this one meal, you will sit down at the table. Turn off the television and put your phone in another room. If you live alone, you can still create a ritual. Set a place for yourself with a napkin and a glass of water. Look at your food for a moment before you begin. Take a deep breath. Then, take your first bite and try to chew it more than you normally would. Try counting your chews, maybe aiming for 20 or 30 chews per bite. You might be surprised at how different the food tastes. Another simple trick is to put your fork or spoon down on the plate between each bite. This forces you to pause. It breaks the habit of loading up the next bite before you have even finished the last one. Take a sip of water, look out the window, then pick up your fork for the next bite. This small change in rhythm can make a big difference. It helps you become more aware of the act of eating. It transforms eating from a mechanical task into a pleasant and restorative experience. By adopting these practices, you are not just helping your digestion, you are reducing stress. A calm, mindful meal can be a form of meditation. It is a quiet time to reconnect with yourself and be grateful for the nourishment you are receiving. This simple ritual of intentional eating is the foundation of a healthier relationship with food. Now let's talk about another crucial part of the eating ritual: who you eat with. For most of human history, meals were a communal event. Families, friends, and communities gathered together to share food. This social connection is just as important for our health as the food on our plate. Scientific studies have shown time and time again that people with strong social ties live longer, healthier lives. Loneliness, on the other hand, can be as damaging to our health as smoking or being overweight. Sharing a meal is one of the oldest and most powerful ways to build and maintain these vital connections. When we eat with other people, something wonderful happens. We talk. We share stories about our day. We laugh, we listen. This simple act of communication is essential for our emotional well-being. It helps us feel seen, heard, and valued. For older adults who may face a higher risk of isolation, social meals are especially important. A shared meal provides a reason to connect. It offers a sense of routine and something to look forward to. It fights off feelings of loneliness and depression. Think about the feeling of a holiday dinner. The food is important, but what truly makes it special is the feeling of togetherness. It is the shared experience that we remember and cherish. We can create a little bit of that special feeling in our everyday lives. The world's longest living communities understand this instinctively. In Okinawa, Japan, they have a tradition called a moai. A moai is a small group of friends who support each other for their entire lives. They meet regularly to socialize, share advice, and often to share a meal. This built-in social network provides incredible emotional and financial support throughout their lives. In Sardinia, Italy, another place known for its long-living men, large family meals are the center of social life. Multiple generations often live together or very close by. Daily meals are a time for the whole family to gather, from the youngest children to the oldest grandparents. This constant interaction keeps older family members engaged and feeling like a vital part of the family unit. In Ikaria, a Greek island with a high percentage of centenarians, village life is very social. People gather in local cafes and at town festivals. They often share meals made with food from their own gardens. This communal eating fosters a strong sense of belonging and community spirit. These examples show us that eating together is not just a pleasant pastime. It is a key ingredient in the recipe for a long and happy life. So, how can we bring more of this social connection into our own meal times? It does not have to be a big formal dinner party every night. Even small, simple connections can make a huge difference. If you live with a spouse or a family member, make it a point to eat at least one meal together at the table each day. Agree to a no screens rule during this time. Use this opportunity to genuinely connect and talk to each other. If you live alone, you can still find ways to make meals more social. Consider inviting a neighbor over for a simple lunch or just a cup of tea and a biscuit. Many people are in the same situation and would likely welcome the company. You could be the one to start a new friendship. Look for opportunities in your community. Many senior centers or community halls host regular lunches or coffee mornings. These are wonderful places to meet new people in a friendly, relaxed setting. Don't be afraid to go by yourself. Everyone is there for the same reason. You could even start your own little group. Perhaps you and a few friends could start a weekly potluck. Each person brings one dish to share. It's a fun way to try new foods and enjoy each other's company without putting all the work on one person. Technology can also help us connect over a meal. If you have family or friends who live far away, you can schedule a video call. Set up your phone or computer at the dinner table and share a meal together virtually. It's not the same as being in person, but it can still help you feel connected to your loved ones. The important thing is to be intentional about seeking out social connection. Sharing food is a natural and comfortable way to do this. It breaks down barriers and encourages conversation. When we break bread together, we are not just feeding our bodies, we are feeding our souls. We are strengthening the bonds that keep us healthy and resilient. This ritual of communal eating is a powerful medicine for loneliness and a celebration of our shared humanity. Let's discuss a topic that can cause a lot of stress: portion control. Many modern diets are focused on strict counting of calories or grams. However, in many traditional cultures, people manage their weight without ever thinking about a calorie. They do it naturally, through their customs and serving styles. One of the simplest and most effective tools they use is the size of their plates. Take a look at a modern dinner plate. It is often very large, sometimes 10 or even 12 inches across. Our eyes can play tricks on us. A normal serving of food can look very small and unsatisfying on such a big plate. This subconsciously encourages us to pile on more food to make the plate look full. Now, think about the dinner plates your parents or grandparents used. They were likely much smaller, perhaps only 8 or 9 inches across. That same normal serving of food would look plentiful and generous on a smaller plate. This simple visual cue helps our brain feel satisfied with less food. This is a powerful psychological trick we can use. Try swapping your large dinner plate for a smaller salad plate or a luncheon plate. Serve your meal on that smaller plate. You will likely find that you feel just as full and satisfied, but you have eaten less without even trying. This is not about deprivation. It is about recalibrating our perception of what a normal portion looks like. Another traditional practice is family-style dining. This is when large serving dishes are placed in the middle of the table and everyone serves themselves. This might sound like it would encourage overeating, but it often has the opposite effect. When you serve yourself from a communal dish, you tend to be more mindful of how much you are taking. You usually start with a smaller portion. Then you eat that portion, and you have to make a conscious decision to reach for more. This pause gives your body time to register if it is still hungry. In contrast, when a massive portion is pre-plated for you in a restaurant, the social expectation is to clean your plate. You may eat past the point of fullness simply because the food is there. Family-style eating puts you back in control. It encourages you to listen to your body's hunger signals. Home cooking is another cornerstone of natural portion control. When you cook your own meals, you have complete control over every aspect of the food. You choose the ingredients, you control the amount of salt, sugar, and fat, and most importantly, you control the portion sizes. Restaurant meals, especially from fast food chains, are often 2 to 3 times larger than a recommended serving size. A single restaurant meal can sometimes contain all the calories you need for an entire day. By cooking at home, you can serve yourself a reasonable amount of food. You are not influenced by the value for money mindset that encourages us to eat a huge meal just because we paid for it. Let's make some visual comparisons to bring this to life. Think about a serving of protein, like chicken or fish. A healthy portion is about the size of a deck of playing cards or the palm of your hand. In a restaurant, you might be served a piece of chicken that is 2 or 3 times that size. Consider a serving of carbohydrates like pasta or rice. A reasonable portion is about the size of your clenched fist or half a cup. When you order pasta, the plate often arrives with a mountain of noodles that could easily feed 2 or 3 people. A serving of cheese should be about the size of 2 dice. A serving of butter or oil is about the size of the tip of your thumb. These are not strict rules to live by. They are simply visual guides to help us understand what a standard serving looks like. The goal is not to become obsessed with measuring. It is to develop a more intuitive sense of how much food our bodies actually need. By using smaller plates, cooking at home, and serving food family style, we can escape the cycle of dieting. We can stop worrying about every calorie. Instead, we learn to eat in a way that is naturally balanced and moderate. This approach prevents overeating gently and sustainably. It brings the focus back to enjoying good food in reasonable amounts. It is a simple, stress-free way to maintain a healthy weight for a lifetime. Now we are going to dive into a fascinating world of food that has been a secret to good health for thousands of years. We are going to talk about fermentation. The word might sound a bit scientific, but the concept is very simple. Fermentation is a natural process where tiny living organisms like good bacteria and yeast transform food. These helpful microbes eat the sugars and starches in the food. As they do this, they create beneficial compounds like lactic acid, B vitamins, and enzymes. This process not only preserves the food, but also makes it more nutritious and easier to digest. Think of it like cooking, but instead of using heat, you're using an army of tiny microscopic chefs. These little chefs pre-digest the food for you, unlocking its nutrients and adding new, healthy ingredients. For centuries before we had refrigerators, fermentation was the primary way people preserved their harvests to last through the long winter months. It was a method born of necessity, but it came with incredible health benefits. Many of the world's healthiest and longest living cultures have a rich tradition of eating fermented foods every single day. Let's look at some common examples. Yogurt is probably the most familiar fermented food for many of us. It is made by adding live, active bacterial cultures to milk. These bacteria eat the milk sugar, called lactose, and turn the milk into a thick, creamy, and tangy yogurt. This process makes yogurt easier to digest than milk for some people. It is also a fantastic source of calcium for strong bones. A good quality, plain yogurt is teeming with beneficial bacteria, also known as probiotics. A single serving of live culture yogurt can contain billions of these good bacteria. To put that in perspective, this is often more than you would find in an expensive probiotic supplement pill you buy at the pharmacy. Sauerkraut is another classic fermented food. It is simply shredded cabbage that has been mixed with salt and left to ferment. The good bacteria that naturally live on the cabbage leaves do all the work. They transform the crunchy cabbage into a tangy, flavorful food that is rich in vitamin C and vitamin K. In fact, sailors like Captain Cook used to take barrels of sauerkraut on long sea voyages to prevent scurvy, a disease caused by a lack of vitamin C. A couple of tablespoons of raw, unpasteurized sauerkraut can provide a powerful dose of probiotics and enzymes. Kimchi is the spicy, vibrant cousin of sauerkraut from Korea. It is typically made with cabbage, radishes, and a zesty paste of garlic, ginger, and chili. Like sauerkraut, it is a nutritional powerhouse, full of vitamins and gut-friendly bacteria. Koreans eat kimchi with almost every meal, and it is a cornerstone of their healthy diet. Homemade sourdough bread is another wonderful example. Unlike commercial bread made with fast-acting yeast, traditional sourdough is made with a starter. This starter is a living culture of wild yeast and beneficial bacteria. During the long, slow fermentation process, these microbes break down some of the gluten and anti-nutrients in the flour. This makes the bread easier to digest, and its minerals like iron and zinc easier for our bodies to absorb. Miso is a staple in Japanese cuisine, especially in Okinawa. It is a savory paste made from fermented soybeans, barley, or rice. It is used to make the famous miso soup. Miso is rich in protein and packed with beneficial bacteria and enzymes. A warm bowl of miso soup is a gentle and nourishing way to start a meal and support your digestive health. These are just a few examples. The world of fermented foods is vast and includes things like kefir, a fermented milk drink, and kombucha, a fermented tea. The key thing to remember is that these foods are alive. They contain living organisms that work in harmony with our bodies. By including these traditional foods in our diet, we are tapping into an ancient wisdom that supports our health from the inside out. We often hear the word probiotics when talking about fermented foods. Probiotics are the good bacteria themselves, but the benefits of these foods go far beyond just providing a dose of good microbes. They play a profound role in the health of our gut microbiome. Imagine your gut as a lush, diverse garden. The microbiome is the collection of all the tiny organisms, trillions of them, that live in this garden. A healthy garden has a wide variety of different plants, flowers, and helpful insects. Similarly, a healthy gut has a wide diversity of different types of good bacteria. Each type of bacteria has a different job to do. Some help you digest fiber. Others produce essential vitamins. Some help regulate your immune system. The more diverse your gut garden is, the more resilient and healthy your whole body will be. Modern life, with its processed foods, stress, and medications like antibiotics, can be harsh on our gut garden. It can be like a drought or a pest infestation, killing off many of the good plants. This leads to a loss of diversity. Fermented foods are like planting a variety of new seeds and plants in your garden. Each type of fermented food, whether it's yogurt, kimchi, or sauerkraut, contains different strains of beneficial bacteria. Eating a variety of these foods helps to repopulate your gut with a rich diversity of microbes. This is why the health of our gut is so critical for our overall well-being. Let's talk about the immune system. A surprising amount, about 70 to 80%, of your immune system is located in your gut. The good bacteria in your gut act like security guards. They line the walls of your intestines, forming a protective barrier. They help to train your immune cells to tell the difference between friendly substances and harmful invaders, like viruses and bad bacteria. A healthy, diverse microbiome means you have a strong, intelligent army ready to protect you from getting sick. Now let's consider our mood. Have you ever had a gut feeling about something? That phrase is more literal than you might think. Your gut and your brain are in constant communication through what is called the gut-brain axis. You can think of it as a direct telephone line between the two. The microbes in your gut can produce neurotransmitters, which are the same chemical messengers your brain uses, like serotonin. Serotonin is often called the happy chemical because it plays a major role in mood and well-being. A healthy gut microbiome can send positive, calming messages to the brain, helping to reduce anxiety and improve your mood. An unhealthy gut, on the other hand, can send stress signals. And what about our energy levels? The main job of our gut is to break down food and absorb nutrients. When your gut is populated with a diverse range of helpful bacteria, this process works much more efficiently. Your body can extract more energy and more vitamins and minerals from the food you eat. This translates directly into having more physical and mental energy throughout the day. So, how can you start adding these powerful foods to your meals? The key is to start slowly. Your gut garden might not be used to these new active foods. If you introduce too much too soon, you might experience some mild bloating or gas as the new microbes settle in. Begin with a very small amount. Try just 1 spoonful of sauerkraut as a side dish with your dinner. Add a dollop of plain yogurt to your morning oatmeal or fruit. Use a small amount of miso paste to make a simple, comforting broth. Listen to your body. If you feel good, you can gradually increase the amount over a few weeks. For those with particularly sensitive digestion, it is best to be extra cautious. You might start with milder fermented foods like yogurt or kefir. Another gentle way to start is by consuming just the liquid from the fermentation. For example, you could drink a teaspoon of the juice from a jar of sauerkraut. This liquid is rich in probiotics, but may be easier on your system than the solid cabbage. It is also important to choose the right kind of fermented foods. Look for products in the refrigerated section of the grocery store. They should be labeled as raw, unpasteurized, or containing live active cultures. The fermented foods you find on the shelf in cans or jars have often been heated, a process which kills the beneficial bacteria. By slowly and steadily incorporating these living foods into your diet, you are actively cultivating a healthier internal ecosystem. You are nourishing the garden within you, which will in turn nourish and protect you. The story of fermentation is not just a story about health. It is also a story about resourcefulness and wisdom. As we mentioned, fermentation was not invented as a health trend. It was born from a fundamental need to preserve food and prevent waste. In a time before refrigerators and global shipping, people had to make the most of what they had. When the autumn harvest brought in a bounty of cabbages, they couldn't possibly eat them all before they spoiled. So they shredded them, salted them, and packed them into crocks to make sauerkraut. This allowed them to enjoy the vitamins from the cabbage all through the cold winter. When there was an abundance of milk, they turned it into yogurt or cheese, which would last for weeks instead of days. This mindset of waste not, want not was the foundation of the traditional kitchen. Every part of an animal or a plant was used. Bones from a chicken were not thrown away. They were simmered for hours to create a nutrient-rich broth. The green, leafy tops of carrots or beets were not discarded. They were used in soups or sautés. Stale bread was not put in the bin. It was transformed into breadcrumbs, croutons, or a delicious bread pudding. This approach to food is not only sustainable and good for the planet, but it also encourages creativity in cooking. It challenges you to see the potential in every ingredient. A kitchen that aims for no waste is a kitchen that is full of interesting and resourceful ideas. This philosophy of making the most of everything connects deeply with the values of older generations who may have lived through times of scarcity. It is a return to a more sensible and respectful way of handling our food. How can we bring some of this no-waste spirit into our modern kitchens? It starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing vegetable peels and ends as garbage, see them as future flavor. Keep a large bag or container in your freezer. Throughout the week, add the ends of onions, celery, carrot peels, and mushroom stems to the bag. Once the bag is full, you can empty it into a pot of water, simmer it for an hour, and you will have a delicious free vegetable stock for soups and stews. Don't throw away your citrus peels. The peels from lemons or oranges can be used to infuse water or tea. You can also pack them into a jar with white vinegar for a few weeks. This creates a wonderful, natural, all-purpose cleaner that smells fresh and citrusy. Many vegetables can be regrown from their scraps. The white base of a bunch of green onions can be placed in a small glass of water. Within a few days, it will start to grow new green shoots that you can snip off and use. The same can be done with the bottom of a head of celery or romaine lettuce. It is a small but satisfying way to get a little extra from your groceries. Planning your meals can also significantly reduce waste. Before you go shopping, take a look at what you already have in your fridge and pantry. Try to plan a few meals that will use up the ingredients that are about to go bad. That slightly soft bell pepper can be perfect for a stir-fry. Those browning bananas are ideal for mashing into a loaf of banana bread. Learning some basic food preservation techniques, like the fermentation we've discussed, is another powerful tool. If you have too many cucumbers from the garden, you can learn to make simple pickles. A glut of summer berries can be made into a jam or frozen for later use. This resourceful kitchen is not about being stingy. It is about being smart and respectful. It honors the effort, energy, and natural resources that went into producing our food. It fosters a deeper connection to what we eat and encourages us to be more mindful consumers. By embracing these no-waste habits, we are not only saving money and being kind to the environment, we are also tapping into a timeless tradition of ingenuity and appreciation that is good for our homes and our spirits. We have covered a lot of ground together today. We learned about the importance of eating mindfully, of slowing down and truly savoring our food. We explored the profound health benefits of sharing our meals with others and building social connections. We saw how traditional habits, like using smaller plates, can help us control our portions naturally and without stress. And we dove into the amazing world of fermented foods and how they support our gut health, which in turn boosts our immunity, mood, and energy. All of these ideas are connected by a common thread, bringing more intention, joy, and community back to the act of eating. It can feel like a lot to take in at once, but you do not have to change everything overnight. The goal is to make small, sustainable changes. So I encourage you to choose just one small thing to try this week. Maybe you will decide to eat one meal each day without the television on. Perhaps you will invite a friend over for a cup of tea. Or maybe you will buy a small jar of sauerkraut or a pot of plain yogurt to try. Any single step in this direction is a step toward better health and well-being. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps other people find our channel. Please share it with a friend or family member who you think might benefit from it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more videos on simple, practical ways to live a healthier life. Please remember, I am not a doctor. The information shared here is based on extensive research and my experience helping people with their diets and lifestyle. It is for educational purposes only. Always talk to your own healthcare provider before making any significant changes to your diet or health routine. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.